fully controlled bridge circuit with inductive load. Here, the load is inductive in nature. Now, let us have a close look on the circuit diagram of fully controlled single phase bridge rectifier with RL load. So in this circuit diagram, if you are observing, here we find there is single phase AC input. Then again a bridge is formed using the four SCRs T1, T2, T3, T4. And a inductive load is connected across the output of the SCRs. So here the load is inductive. We always show inductor in series with the resistor. Every component, whether it is active or passive, it has some resistance. That's why we have shown a series resistance with the inductor. So in this circuit we have 4 SCRs and inductor. And as the output load is inductive, hence it is called as fully controlled single phase bridge rectifier with RL load. So this is the circuit diagram as shown in the figure 4.21. So the conduction of the SCRs will not take place until the thyristors are fired or triggered. And in order for current to flow, thyristors T1 and T2 must be fired together, as must the thyristor T3 and T4 must be fired in the next half cycle. Means in the positive half cycle, SCRs T1 and T2 will be fired together, and in the next negative half cycle, SCR T3 and T4 will be fired together. To ensure simultaneous firing, both SCRs T1 and T2 are fired from the same firing circuit. So there is no need of employing another firing circuit. So they will be fired using the same firing circuit. Inductance L is used in the circuit to reduce the ripple. When a large value of L is used, it will result in continuous steady current in the load. A small value of L will produce a discontinuous load current for large firing angles. Means what? We have to use larger values of inductor to have a smooth current at the output. And if we use a small values of L, then there will be discontinuous load current. The waveforms are shown in this figure. The waveforms with two different firing angles have been shown. The voltage waveform at the DC terminal comprises a steady DC component onto which it is superimposed on ripple component, having the fundamental frequency equal to twice that of AC supply. The input line current has a square waveform of amplitude ID, amplitude of input line current, and the fundamental component of this waveform is in phase with the input voltage. As shown in this figure, at firing angle alpha equals to 60 degree, the thyristors T1 and T2 are triggered. Hence, the current will flow through the path inductor L. So the current will flow through L, that is line SCRT1, A, then L, then R, then B, T2 means thyristor 2, and N. Let us have a look. So during the positive half cycle of the AC input, we'll see during the positive half cycle. I have shown negative half cycle with the dotted line. So during the positive half cycle of the AC input, SCRT1 is forward bias, SCRT2 is also forward biased. Triggering pulses are simultaneously applied at this gate terminal. Okay, so now how the current is going to flow? So the current during the positive half cycle will flow from terminal L then it will go to SCRT1. Okay, then it will keep on flowing through point number A. Now this SCR is reverse biased, hence no current will flow. Similarly, this SCR is reverse biased because this current will split from here, and it will be reverse biased because this cathode is having the positive voltage, anode is having the negative voltage with respect to the cathode. So this is also open switch. The current will flow from this from this line terminal L, SCRT1 terminal A through this L through this R, then it will again try to divide, but it will not flow from this T4 because it is reverse bias previously. Okay, so it will act as a open switch. So it will flow from this T2 and then back to the neutral. So this is the direction of current flow, which is shown in the red line. So the current during the positive half cycle will flow from N, line L, then SCRT1 from point A through L, inductor, then series resistor, and from SCRT2 and back to the neutral. This load current ID is assumed to be constant. This current also flows through the supply, and then the direction is from line to neutral, which is taken as positive. Now at instant pi, we will see what happens during the negative half cycle. Now during at time instant pi, means this pi, the voltage reverses. At this interval pi, we have the negative half cycle. Okay, so the voltage has been reversed. But because of very large inductance, the current is maintained in the same direction at constant magnitude ID. And it keeps the thyristor T1 and T2 in conducting state, and hence a negative supply voltage is appeared across the output terminal. Why it is happening? It is happening because of the large values of the inductance. So we will get a negative voltage over here. So to show, so this is the extra negative voltage. This is extra negative voltage we are getting because of the large inductance. At angle pi plus alpha, thyristors or SCR T3 and T4 are fired with this negative line voltage. Reverse biases thyristor T1 and T3 and T2 through T4 of the commutating thyristors T1 and T2. It means that during the negative half cycles, the SCRs T3 and T4 get forward biased, and SCRs T1 and T2 they are reverse biased. If they are reverse biased, they will not conduct. And if SCRs T3 and T4 are forward biased, they will conduct when the firing pulses are applied through them. So if we look once again the direction of current flow during the negative half cycle, then it can be shown as follows. Now let us see how the direction of the current is there during the negative half cycle. I will show the positive half cycle with dotted line and negative half cycle with the solid line. So during the negative half cycle, SCR T1 is open switch. Simultaneously SCR T4 is open switch. Why? Because they are getting reverse bias. Now as this SCR T4 cathode terminal is having negative with respect to anode, the SCR T4 is now forward bias. Similarly, SCR T3 is getting forward bias. And when the triggering pulses are applied at the gate terminal, the SCRs will conduct. So during the negative half cycle, the current will flow from the terminal N, okay, it will go to SCR T3, okay, then it will move to SCR T3 as it is forward biased to terminal A, then through inductor L, then through R, then at terminal B, then at terminal T4, sorry, SCR T4. Why it will not flow through T2? Because it is reverse bias. Here we are getting negative potential. It is applied to anode. So hence SCR T2 is reverse bias. So it will go to SCR T4 and back to L. So this is the direction of current flow during the negative half cycle. This continues in every half cycle and we will get the output voltage continuously. So now I have drawn the green line to indicate that this is the direction of the current flow during the negative half cycle. Okay, I will show it again. So this is the direction of current flow during the negative half cycle. Now during the positive half cycle, I will show the direction of current flow using the red mark. So during the positive half cycle, the current will flow from T1, okay, it will go to A, inductor L, okay, through R. So during the positive half cycle, SCRs T1 and T2 are forward biased. Okay, this SCR T3 and T4 are reverse biased. So the direction of current flow during the positive half cycle is L, SCR T1, inductor L, resistor, then the current will flow through T2 and back to the neutral. So if we notice the direction of current flow during both the positive and negative half cycle, we observe that the direction of current flow through inductor, or we can say the inductive load, during both positive half cycle as well as negative half cycle, the direction is exactly same, and hence we get the unidirectional current at the load. So from this diagram we can see that this is the output during the positive half cycle. As we look at the output voltage, so this hash line is the output voltage. So, and this dotted line indicates the input voltage. Hash line indicates the load voltage. This is load voltage and this is line voltage. Okay. Now consider the firing angle alpha is equals to 60 degree. Then during the positive half cycle we'll obtain output this. Here SCR T1 and SCR T2 are conducting. This is because of the large inductance we are getting the half waving. This output is because SCR T3 and T4 are conducting and the process repeats, and this is because of the large inductance. So this represents the firing angle pulses. This is alpha for firing angles at SCR T1 and T2, and this for firing angle alpha for SCRs T3 and T4. As soon as the firing angles are applied, firing pulses are applied at the SCR's gate terminal, we obtain the output. And this half waving is because of the large inductance. SCR continue to conduct during the negative half cycle. And this extra negative voltage reduces the total output voltage. Reduces total output voltage. But it increases conduction period. Of SCRs. This waveform indicates the output current, or we can say the current across the thyristor, the current flowing through the thyristors. We can see that it is almost constant. Why it is constant? Because this inductor, because of the inductor, large value of inductor, what is the function of inductor? Opposes the change in current. And hence we will obtain a constant current. Constant current. This current when T1 and T2 is on, this current when T3 and T4 are on. One more thing, one more waveform. When SCRs are not triggered, we obtain the voltage across the SCR V1 and V2. This voltage is obtained across SCR T3 and T4, and the sequence will repeat. Now let us see what is the average value of the output DC voltage, how it will be obtained. So average value DC voltage is given by 1 upon pi integration of alpha to pi plus alpha Em sin omega t. So here this 1 upon y 1 upon 2 pi, we are getting the output for every half cycle. So we have to integrate all the values from alpha to pi plus alpha. So we are getting output from this alpha, okay, from alpha. So this is angle alpha. We are getting output from alpha up to which again this is pi and this is pi plus alpha. This duration is alpha. This duration is alpha. Output is obtained from alpha to pi. Then during the negative half cycle, SCR continue to conduct because of the large inductor, and it will continue to conduct up to again additional angle alpha. Okay, and this is the instantaneous value of AC input. Simplifying it, EDC is equals to Em by pi minus cos omega t, alpha ranges alpha to pi plus alpha. Solving it further, we get EDC equals to twice of Em by pi cos alpha. So this is the equation for average value of the output DC voltage across the bridge rectifier using the inductive load. By controlling the phase angle of the firing pulses that are applied to the gates of the thyristor in the range of 0 to 180 degree, the average value of the DC voltage can be varied continuously from positive maximum to the negative maximum, assuming that the current is continuously flowing at the DC terminals. But because the average DC voltage is reversible, even though the current flowing in the DC terminal is unidirectional, the power flow in the converter can be in either directions. Means if we are controlling the firing angle, if we are increasing or decreasing the firing angle, even though the current is unidirectional, but we can change the direction by increasing the firing angle. Hence, if we can change the direction of the current, there are two modes of operations of this circuit. Means the fully controlled single phase bridge rectifier using the inductive load can be operated in two modes. First mode is the rectifying mode. Means we will get positive DC voltage or negative DC voltage. But first we will consider mode 1 rectifying mode, AC voltage converted to DC voltage, that to positive DC voltage. During the interval alpha to pi, both supply voltages ES and current IS are positive in nature. Therefore, current will flow from AC source to the load. So both this current and voltages are positive in nature as shown in this waveform. And during time interval pi to pi plus alpha, means at point this, from this pi to pi plus alpha, this 2 points. Es is negative, but Is is positive here. Es is negative, but Is is positive. The load therefore returns some of its energy to the supply system. But the net power that flows is from AC source to DC load because of pi plus alpha less than alpha, okay, is shown in this figure. Also, the equation 4.16 shows that is alpha is less than 90 degree, the voltage at the DC terminal is positive, therefore the power will flow from AC side to DC side and the converter acts as a rectifier. Means what I am saying, if alpha is less than 90 degree, this firing angle as shown in this waveform, if firing angle is less than 90 degree, here the 60 degree, here the alpha is equal to 60 degree and it is less than 90 degree. This rectifier mode will operate. Means this condition. Okay. And if this alpha is increases to this point, okay, means this output voltage now equals to this output voltage, means the positive output voltage and this negative output voltage will be same, so net output is 0. So for the rectifier mode, alpha must be less than 90 degree. The next figure of the waveform to see the inverting mode. So in this figure, the firing pulses are retarded by an angle alpha is equals to 135 degree. The DC terminal voltage now contains a mean negative content and the fundamental content of the AC line current waveform lags the voltage by an angle of 135 degree. Since the mean DC terminal voltage is negative, that is alpha greater than 90 degree, the DC power and hence also the mean AC power must be negative. So here we can observe that here the alpha is more than 90 degree. So we will obtain this negative voltage, more negative voltage. Simultaneously, this AC voltage is also AC current, which is shown by dotted line. Okay, it is also going negative. It is a fundamental current lagging the voltage. In other words, we can say that power is now being delivered from DC side of the converter to the AC side, and the converter is operating as line commutated inverter. Line commutated inverter when alpha is greater than 90 degree. This is confirmed by the fact that the AC line current is displaced from the AC voltage by an angle greater than 90 degree, which indicates that a mean component of power is being delivered to the AC side of the circuit. In order to achieve this situation in practice, it is necessary for a source of DC voltage E whose voltage equals to the average DC voltage of a converter must be connected at the output as shown in the figure 4.23. In order to achieve this situation in practice, that is alpha greater than 90 degree, then the commutation will take place. Okay, it is necessary for a source of a DC voltage E whose voltage equal to the average DC voltage of the converter must be connected at the output to nullify that negative voltage. Okay, so here we have connected extra DC voltage to remove that negative component, so that the converter, this fully controlled bridge rectifier, will operate as a line commutated inverter. In this source, it is a source of external voltage which drives the direct current into the converter against the counter negative voltage produced at this DC terminals. If this DC voltage source is not connected, the conduction angle will increase. The conduction angle will cease somewhere before the angle 180 plus alpha. Such an operation is used in regenerative braking mode of DC drives and in high voltage direct current transmission. Line commutation is generally used in this fully controlled bridge rectifier. So this is one of the applications where a regenerative braking is used. This is generally used in regenerative braking modes of DC drives and in HVDC transmission. So this type of circuits are generally used for applications of braking the regenerative braking of the DC drives. Means a motor which is running, and if we want to suddenly stop it, then we must apply a negative current, okay, to stop it. So this is about the practical implementation of the fully controlled bridge converter using a inductive load, and hence we can say that this is acting as a line commutated inverter. Means the bridge rectifier is acting as a line commutated inverter, and it is used in the regenerative braking of the DC drives and in HVDC transmission. So this is all about the fully controlled bridge rectifier circuit.